How's it going, everybody? It's Carlos, your host of the Just Fans podcast, and I'm here with my co-host Rios. How's it going, everybody? How's it going, Rios?
I hate traffic. Now I remember why I moved out of Houston.
See, Rios over there trying to cause a traffic a problem for every other Texans fan that's going over there, driving recklessly as usual. And of course, we got yeah. And today we got a special guest, childhood friend of mine, Albert. How's it going, bud? How you doing?
Hey, man. Thanks for having me on, brother. Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad you're in. So, Albert, really quick before we start talking about our Texans, tell people what you're about, what you do, and just a little bit about yourself.
Just a little bit on me. Well, backtrack. Known Carlos for since like 5th or 6th grade. Been carrying on since then. Firefighter. Right here in the city of Houston. You know, saving lives, protecting lives, all that good stuff, all that 9 yards. Love my Texans too. So hopefully get some good insight on this podcast today.
Oh yeah. So one of the funniest things about Albert, when I knew him, he was a big Cowboys fan. Look at him now. He converted. How does that feel?
Look at that.
Yeah, he's a big Texans fan now.
He saw the light.
He saw the light. He saw the light, and he knew where to go exactly. Awesome. Exactly. All right. So again, Rios, try not to crash. All right. Do your best.
I'll try. No promises.
Yeah, no promises. All right. So we got today the Texans go off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're coming in. They're coming in hot. I mean, they've won the last 6 games out of they won the last 6 out of the 7 games. But that doesn't mean that that's going to happen today. We got C.J. Stroud has just been absolutely phenomenal. Last week, he passed for 336 yards, 2 touchdowns. Yes, 3 interceptions, but he had an 85.0 quarterback rating. Guess what? Today, he only needs 263 passing yards to surpass Justin Herbert for the most passing yards by a rookie quarterback in their first 11 games. I don't know about you guys, but to me, that's very attainable for C.J. Stroud, especially the way he's been playing. And the reason why I think that it can happen is the last three games for C.J. Stroud, he's passed for more than 330 yards. What do you guys think? Rios, what's your take on that?
Yeah, definitely gonna be over that. So as far as NFL passing leaders, he only needs about 200 to pass Tua and about 370 to pass Sam Howell. So that's pretty easy because Jacksonville is the 29th ranked pass defense, so should be able to light him up. He did last time in Duval.
Yeah, and even I think they're missing one of their top corners as well, Jacksonville. So it should be a pretty good one as well for that aspect. Albert, what do you think? But what do you expect to see from CJ today?
Easy. He's been doing this pretty much the first half this whole season. I don't think it's going to be anything too short. I mean, he's going to get it done. Expect this to happen probably before the second half today, most likely. The offense is firing, man. Can't slow it down.
Yeah, no, exactly. Offense has been clicking. Tank Dell has been on a roll. The only thing that might provide a little challenge for CJ today is, again, we don't have Noah Brown on the list. I mean, yes, you can kind of say that, but at the same time, it's like when you don't have Noah Brown, you know it's going to be a Tank Dell game, right? Tank Dell has been such a steal for the Houston Texans, especially at the round we got him in. He's been just overall a huge asset and is going to continue to be a huge asset for the Texans. Rios and I, we were kind of calling it at the beginning during preseason, right, Rios, when we were watching him at training camp and all that stuff. And I mean, Rios, he follows more college ball than I do, but he's been following him since like U of H, and so it's been great the fact that we kept him. I mean, I like him. It's been a great asset, but honestly, would you consider him wide receiver 1, or still do you think Nico would be wide receiver 1?
I think he's your wide receiver 1. I think he needs to be a little bit more efficient as far as his targets, because he gets targeted a lot, but he hasn't been, hasn't caught all of them, and he's had a few drops. But if he can get that cleaned up, he should be wide receiver because he's the most explosive playmaker. You can line him up anywhere, inside, outside, in the backfield. He's basically playing the Debo role here, just a different version of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much running out of the backfield because, dude's 5'8". Don't think I'm taking that much punishment.
Yeah.
The only thing I do wish they would stop doing is putting him to return kicks and punts.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, it's. I don't want to get that injury. Yeah, protect the dude. Yeah, definitely. Albert, what do you think, Nico? Comparing Nico and how do you call it? And Tank Dell.
So Nico, Tank Dell. I really want to have Nico as number one, but it's really Tank Dell. It's so much that, like, I don't know if you guys watch his feet, his route running ability. It is elite beyond elite. It's amazing. I think the only big thing about him is just staying healthy. I mean, his size was a big thing coming out of college.
Yeah.
But other than that, with the play calling and Bobby Slowick, just able to get him those good routes, and he's a good route runner, like I said before. We get him in those situations where he can be most effective, and he's just dynamic, man. He's a wide receiver one.
Yeah, no, for sure, agreed. Rios, hey, I'm gonna put you on mute really quick because I think I'm bouncing back off of the stuff. But just you're able to unmute whenever, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so just I'm gonna put you on mute just for that reason because I'm hearing a lot of feedback real quick. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see. So now, so with Nico Collins, I mean, he's had 50+ yards in the last three of in the last 3 of 4 games. Tank Dell, I mean, he's got 10 targets last game, 8 receptions. 149 yards and a touchdown. Like those are some great numbers from Tank Dell. Jags defense, the pass defense has 11 interceptions. It's an 86.7 rate. Pass rush is good, but not great. When I was watching some of the highlights, I saw that they were getting to Will Levis, but again, Will Levis has a revolving door of O-line, which we have seen here in the Texans, but our O-line has actually been pretty stable. Like they've kept CJ really well protected, Rios, where do you think we expect to see from O-line today?
Yeah, so they get Juice Scruggs back today. I don't know if he's gonna start. I haven't looked at the lineups yet, but I'm pretty sure they'll probably have him out there, as a rotational player. We've had some pretty good continuity as far as the line goes so far. Since I think week 5, we've actually had most of our O-line back, and they've been pretty healthy so far, and they've been, for the most part, doing a good job of keeping CJ upright. Haven't had too many sacks. There's been a few scares where, Tunsil missed an assignment and, CJ got lit up. But other than that, they've done a good job of keeping them protected. Hopefully they can open up some holes in the running game as well, since we're getting Pierce back as well.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, no, definitely. All right, awesome. Albert, what do you think about our O-line so far?
Man, the O-line coming into the season, I was like, this is just like chewing gum, sticks, Band-Aids, holding it together. But so far, they're holding it. Whatever happened, whatever's in that water they're drinking or Gatorade they're drinking, man, it's working. I don't know if CJ's adapting to his own line, but they're holding up for him, man. And they love blocking for him. You can see that. And he even talks about it himself. I don't expect anything different so far. I think we have enough of a sample size to really dictate how the season's going to go. I don't see anything that's going to, especially for the rest of their games, I think their O-line's going to be able to hold up.
Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. Another person I want to talk about is Will Anderson. Will Anderson, he has 2 sacks. He has a sack in the last 2 of the last 3 games. I mean, Will Anderson is I'm starting to. At first, it was like, when are we going to see Will Anderson? When are we going to see the Terminator? I'm starting to see a lot from him recently, especially last week when he sacked Kyler Murray. He had a great sack against Kyler Murray, honestly, and so I hope to see more from him today. I think he can get to Trevor Lawrence today. Rios, what do you think? What are we thinking about Will Anderson here?
Yeah, he's been a game wrecker. If you look at the advanced metrics, he's beating his assignments. He's gotten to the quarterback pretty close a couple of times, and he's got a couple sacks the last few weeks. I think the sacks will come. He's doing what he has to do, and he's being disruptive. He's forcing these guys and he's forcing the quarterback to throw it away quickly. He's forcing them to throw it out of bounds. Him and Grenard are doing a great job of containing the edge, which was a concern going into the season, but they've done a great job against the run. And I expect them to shut down Jacksonville's running game. I think because Etienne, he's more of an outside runner than than a downhill runner. So I think they probably contain him, and I expect at least 3 or 4 sacks today.
Yeah, no, I can see a good sack game from Will Anderson today. I think he's going to get to the quarterback. I think he's going to cause. So one of the things that I noticed was that the Texans are high up on the quarterback pressures without blitzing. Like they can get to the quarterback without even having to blitz, which is incredible, really. Yeah. So what about? Sorry, Albert, I didn't get to ask you. What did you think about Will Anderson so far?
Dude, Will Anderson, I was a little skeptical, but then I have to realize I'm like, it's take time. The guy's too good of a player. He's gonna get his. Like it's gonna happen. You've seen flashes. He got a sack last week. I expect more of that to come. But just because he's not getting sacked does not mean he's not doing anything on the defensive line. Like you said, Rio said earlier about the QB pressures. That stuff's happening. He's getting double teamed a lot.
Yes.
I think at one point in time he was the most double teamed player in the league. Might still be. I'm not too sure about that. I got to read up on that. But he's disruptive, and because of his disruption, it's causing other guys on that line to shine a little bit. Not saying those guys aren't as good, but because of that, it's causing the other guys to stand out on the line.
Got it. Okay, Rios, are you trying to unmute? Is that on? It says you're not connected. Oh, now you are. Good.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna say something?
No.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right, so let's talk about the Texans' pass defense really quick. Last week they allowed Kyler Murray to get 214 yards on him with an 84.6 passing rating. How do we see Trevor Lawrence today against our secondary? We saw a really good game with Derek Stingley yesterday. Like he looked like last week. Sorry, he looked like the Stingley that we wanted to have, that we want to have, the Stingley that he was on it, and then he even caught that interception by Kyler Murray. I don't know about you guys, but I stood up out of my seat. I love that interception. That to me, I was like, there you go. That's exactly what I've been wanting to see from Derek Stingley. And you could tell because he was, he got interviewed at the end of the day, after the game, and he was smiling ear to ear, like he had a great game. What did you guys think of Derek Stingley's performance last week? Rios, what do you think, bud?
Yeah, it's like you said. That's the shutdown corner we've been waiting for. Because he's had the injury concerns the last 2 years, and it was great seeing him get that pick last week. And yeah, like you said, after the game when they were interviewing, like you could tell that he was just beaming, like he had himself a game. Yeah. I expect the same this week. Trevor Lawrence is more. With him, he's not as much of a deep thrower as Kyler Murray. With Trevor Lawrence, it's going to be a lot of short throws, a lot of intermediate throws. So I think it's going to be more on the linebackers to play their assignments and take away some of those inside passing lanes. I don't expect to see too many deep shots. That's just not Trevor Lawrence's game.
Yeah. Okay. Albert, what do you think, bud?
Derek Stingley, he needed that, man. He needed that big time just from all the critics, from us drafting him, injury prone. He needed the game like that to show us why we drafted him. I expect more of that this week. As for Trevor Lawrence himself, what's Trevor Lawrence going to get this week?
Yeah, is he consistent?
I don't take any shots down the field, to be honest.
Yeah, he's going to have Steven Nelson cover. I'm not sure who's going to cover Calvin Ridley, but other than that, once you cover Calvin Ridley, how many do the Jags even have another receiver after that?
No. Yeah, Zay Jones.
That's right, Jay Jones. That's right.
Oh.
But they're gonna not Jones. Yeah, and so that's the thing. But they're gonna be covered because you got Steven Nelson on one corner, and you got Derek Stingley on another side. So the only threat that I can kind of see is maybe Evan Ingram down in the middle. So I think, like Rio said, I think the linebacker position is going to come to play a lot today. But at the same time, I think this is where a game where you might miss Perriman because he's not playing right now because of the suspension. But I mean, Blake Cashman has been playing out of his freaking mind. Blake Cashman has been such a steal. The Jets got fleeced in that Blake Cashman pick. I love it. I'm all for it. Blake Cashman has thrived. I think I sent you guys Rios, and I sent you guys the post this week where a lot of the Jets fans were like, "Good luck, Texans got fleeced or whatever." And one person, you thought. Yeah, and so Blake Cashman has just been such a gift from the New York Jets to us. Thank you so much. There's a good chance. There's no way this guy doesn't get extended for a contract next season. He has been ball out. Like he reminds me of like a Brian Cushing, almost in a way. Like he's side to side. He's everything that you need.
Minus the steroids.
Minus that.
We don't talk about that.
We'll talk about that. Minus what? Yeah, the Cushing special. No, nonetheless, though, he's been amazing. So I think Blake, you're gonna see a lot of plays from Blake Cashman today. I think Henry To'oTo'o is back today as well, isn't he? Rios? Yeah, I think Henry To'oTo'o is back today also. If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. I haven't checked the lineups.
Yeah,
I think he's back from the concussion already.
Yeah, he should be. So that should be some extra help added to the linebacking core for this team. And Christian Harris has been pretty good as well. He's been pretty good. So he had himself a game last week also against the Cardinals. So it's funny because it almost seems like, and Rios, you can attest to this as well. Like every time the Texans kind of like, there's certain plays that the Texans defense just let go and like, oh come on, you could have done that, whatever, right? But in the end, they seem to prevail. Like last week, I could definitely say the defense, obviously with CJ did, but obviously the defense was a huge help in us obtaining the victory. The defense, even though they do have their mess ups here and there, like they still get us to the point where they make the stops when they need to make those stops. Rios, what do you think about that?
Yeah, they do give up a lot of big plays, but then when you need them to get a stop, they get that stop. Like good teams find ways to win, and they've been doing that, which hasn't been the case the last 4 or 5 years. The defense has found ways to lose the game for us, but especially last week, the offense was clicking in the first half. Second half, we scored 0 points, couldn't move the ball, but they got key stops, especially at the end of the game when they were driving down the field, and you're like, oh, man, no, not again. But Steven Nelson broke up the pass at the end, and game over.
Exactly. Albert, what do you think about our defense so far, bud?
Oh, man, last week against the Cardinals, that was amazing. I'm not going to lie. I was thinking that, Texans are going to Texan, but defense has stepped up. The defense won the game last week, no doubt about it. CJ Stroud with his miscues last week with his 3 interceptions. But the defense, they bailed them out. They're balling, and I think that's a reflection off of D'Amico Ryans himself, just how always play, never quit type of mentality on the defensive side of the ball.
So I was watching a few videos, and apparently the Jaguars, the Jacksonville Jaguars performed really poorly. I don't know if it's a defensive scheme or whatnot. They performed very poorly against any Kyle Shanahan offense. This one being one of them. So I expect today, honestly, I expect and I always tell Rios, hey, I'm gonna pick the Texans to lose because I've been on a roll. With that, like if I say they'll do that, so I'm gonna take the homer pick today. I'm gonna take the Texans. I expect total domination today from the Houston Texans. That's what I expect. Rios, what do you think so far?
I think Bobby's gonna be in his bag today.
Yeah.
Because as you mentioned, that they struggle against Kyle Shanahan offenses, and I think Bobby's gonna explode like he did in Duval.
Yeah.
Expect to see a lot of motion, a lot of different formations. They're gonna have Tank Dell all over the field, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dalton Schultz has a game too.
Oh yeah, that's right, Dalton Schultz. We forget about Dalton Schultz coming over from Dallas.
From Dallas.
It's so funny because like this, I seen them like the Texans don't really. As far as I can remember, and I brought this up several times on the show, when's the last time we had a productive tight end like that? We really haven't seen one since Owen Daniels. Owen Daniels. That's the last time I remember seeing a tight end. It looked like at one point when we had CJ Fedorowicz that he was gonna start becoming that target, but suddenly the concussion protocols and all that it made him retire early from the game, and so. We didn't get that, but aside from that, like Dalton Schultz has been such a snag this season. I'm telling you right now, Nick Caserio should be GM of the year. Nick Caserio should be GM of the year.
Hang that sweater vest in the rafters.
Exactly. Hang that sweater vest. I mean, think about it. Everything that the Texans did right this season, just in one season, how they were able to turn it around. Uh, Last season, I mean, it was awful. The last few years have been awful, and now the Texans, because of Nick Caserio, because of the restructuring of the organization, and again, I'll die on this hill. Once they got rid of Jack Easterby, that whole organization turned around. So yeah, it's like we saw the light, and Cal McNair was like, "Nah, we're gonna start doing it this way," and suddenly you started seeing better production out of out of players. You saw a better culture by D'Amico Ryans, and the whole crew. I mean, the Texans are now legitimately a playoff contending team. Does that make sense? Like, sorry, a playoff team that's going to make the playoffs. Like, and we weren't expecting to see that this year. We made some predictions this year. I mean, Rios, I know that you were really on it. Day one, but a lot of the times when people were talking about, oh, this is a rebuild year, to go from what we thought it was going to be a rebuild year to now thinking, hey, they're most likely going to be in the playoffs based on their schedule. Like, it's incredible turnaround in just a year. Rios, what's your take on that?
Yeah, it's very similar to what we're seeing with the Rockets. You get the right coach in place, you get the right culture in place, and you get the right pieces, you can turn your organization around in just a year.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Rockets were similar to the Texans, worst team in the league, basically tanking for 3 years. But you get the right coach, got the right pieces in place, and that'll end your rebuild real quick.
Yeah, agreed. Albert, what's your take on that?
I mean, yeah, just the right coaches. Definitely CJ Stroud. Right coaches is the right players. Nick Caserio himself he's a gem, man. He knows how to find those mid-round picks right there. He knows how to find those players, man. He has a good eye. I don't think he gets enough credit. I know we're probably bashing him the last 2 seasons pretty hard. Probably asking for his head this year. But so far, he's come through with some of his players, man. I expect only to get better. As for the season in general, my expectation of Texans, I'm not gonna lie, I had them winning maybe 6 or 7 games.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people did. But then as the season started to progress, and then just how CJ looked on the field, just by how he looked, I started checking off my boxes of what I want my quarterback to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I was like, you guys might mess around and get in the playoffs. And so far, based off the remainder of the schedule, these are winnable games, and they should win. They should be at least a wild card.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I'm gonna take a page out of young Ari Gold, who on his show he did a episode recently, and he said right now from CJ Stroud we're getting what a lot of what we wanted from Deshaun Watson. That season right now we are getting that from CJ Stroud, but like an upgraded version. CJ Stroud has just blown everybody away by the stats. How good he's able to move his feet around the pocket, his pocket presence, and if he needs to, he can move around as well. Like, he has that ability. He's like a hybrid quarterback, right? You don't want a quarterback that just kind of runs it all the time, aka Anthony Richardson. Even Lamar Jackson at the very beginning of his career. Can they extend those plays? Of course they can. But you want somebody that could also be a pocket passer, and that's what CJ is. He's like a good mixture of both. Look at Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, does he run it all the time? No. Does he if he needs to? Of course he does. We're getting right now, as Texans fans, we're getting what we had been waiting for a long time. Now, I was listening to Undisputed, and Michael Irving had a great take on CJ Stroud, and Richard Sherman actually backed him up after all the arguing that they were doing, as they're used to. He had a great take on CJ Stroud, Michael Irving, and he said, "You want this kid to hit that ceiling where he had the 3 interceptions. How does he come back from those 3 interceptions? he had a great quote. Well, Steph Curry keeps shooting. I'm gonna keep slinging the ball too. Great. It's a great aspect to have because Michael Irving said it's better if he understands which like roof you can't be crashing on. You know where you can turn it over and what mistakes you can and can't do in this league. He said he'd much rather have a quarterback that can sling it and make those mistakes as opposed to not having to take those risks in early on in his career and having an Alex Smith type of quarterback where he just doesn't throw it down the field. What are your thoughts on that, Rios?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically you want him to, like Michael Irvin said, figure out what he can do, what he can't get away with, and he learned, there's certain throws that probably shouldn't make, just depending on the type of coverage. And as we see from CJ all season, like anytime he makes a mistake, like he learns from it, and you see the next week, like you see the progression, you see that he learned from the mistake and he builds upon it. So I think he probably spent most of the week watching tape on those 3 interceptions. Cleaned it up, and I think this week he's going to put on masterclass.
I think so too. Albert, what do you think is going to happen today? Do you think those interceptions are going to get to him, or do you think he's going to learn from it, or what do you think in general?
Now that there's more film on CJ, defensive teams are looking at that to see, take away some things that he likes to do. I mean, it's going to be up to him to, combat that, recognize that, and get better. CJ's a smart kid. I don't expect him to, have like another 3 interception game, but it would have surprised me if he threw an interception today or not. It's just it's growing pains. I mean, it's something he just has to get through. Right. He's learning, like Michael Over said, like what he can and can't do in this league, and it's a good thing to learn. Like especially last week, you still got the win. Your defense bailed you out, but now you know what you can and can't do.
Yeah, it's like you know which ceiling you can and can't crash on. It's great to see like people will. What was crazy and Rios, I think, and we saw this stuff. How those people that were quiet about CJ Stroud suddenly came out of the woodworks and started talking about CJ for those 3 interceptions. I think you were dealing with one particular individual, which we won't say the name because we don't want to give that person attention. But not at all. So I'm like, how like y'all stayed quiet for so long and we're just waiting for a particular moment while your quarterback Bryce Young is over there messing it up over there in Carolina. So obviously you have no room to talk.
That one guy was a Will Levis truth. I'm like, bro, Will Levis, like, please pipe down. Go take a seat. Take several.
Yeah. As soon as he said Will Levis, I'm like, all right, go get out. Already. Yeah, no, it was a mess. But yeah, once CJ had three mistakes or what, and you can't even really count the second one. The one was right off of Robert Woods' hands. Like that was and even Michael Irving said, well, his receiver could have helped him out. You know what I mean? While they were reviewing, like his receiver could have helped him out a little bit. And so it almost like you can count 2 of those on him, but one of those you really can't, even though I get it in this league, an interception is on the quarterback, but still, when you look at, it's all about context. You get to see it and you're like, okay, that doesn't really seem like it, whatever. But all in all, yeah, I do expect to see CJ Stroud correct those mistakes and realize, okay, because that's what CJ does. He's gotten over adversity. This is a big challenge for him. How are you going to be able to respond in this? How are you going to come back from 3 interception game? So that's what I'm thinking. So honestly, I think CJ will thrive from this, and it'll only make him a stronger quarterback for us anyway. And again, just remember, he's still a rookie. He's still a rookie. People forget that. He's still a rookie. Like, come on. He's only going to get better from here, and that's it. All right. Really quick, we're gonna move into the NFL score prediction, and then we're going to at the end of it, we're just gonna go and give our score predictions for the Texans Jaguars game, and then we'll end it shortly so that our viewers can get to their fantasy lineups. All right, first game we have today. Let's go with Saints versus Falcons. 12 p.m. game here Central. It looks like the Saints are about 3-3 away. The Falcons are 3-2 at home. They're playing in Atlanta. Derek Carr's coming in with 2,231 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Bijan Robinson's coming in at 125 carries, 612 yards, 2 touchdowns. And Olave for the Saints is coming in with 56 receptions, 657 yards, and 3 touchdowns. I'm going to take the Saints on this one. What about you, Rios?
Man, talk about the battle of mid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Falcons at home. I think the Falcons offensive coordinator says, "Hey, I have Bijan Robinson on my team. Maybe I should use him. Just maybe, just use this kid a little bit.
Just maybe.
A little bit.
Just a little bit."
And surprisingly, they start using him more and they start winning. Shocking.
Who knew, right? Who knew to use a high draft? A guy like Bijan who was killing it in college.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So you say Saints? You said Falcons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Albert, what about you, bud?
Man, who that gonna beat them Saints? I got the Saints for fantasy perspectives.
Okay.
Alvin Kamara and Chris Olave didn't have big games for me today, but
okay.
Overall, I think the Saints have better playmakers than the Falcons.
Okay. All right. So 2 Saints, 1 Falcon. All right. Awesome. All right, then we have, let's see, another 12 o'clock Central game. We got the Steelers versus Bengals, another divisional game. What are we thinking? I'm going to go with the Steelers on this one. I'm going to say Steelers on this one. They've been surprisingly, they're 6-4 right now. They're playing in Cincinnati, 44-degree weather, and it looks like it's going to be a little rainy. Kenny Pickett's coming in with 1,722 yards, 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Joe Mixon's coming in with 153 carries, 605 yards, 4 touchdowns for the season. And Jamar Chase, we got 71 receptions, 833 yards, and 6 touchdowns so far this season. I'm going to take the Steelers for this one. Rios?
Yeah, I think it's going to be an old school game. It's going to be a lot of running, a lot of defense making plays.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Steelers just because without Burrow, man, Cincinnati's done.
Yeah, they're done. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's nothing they can do now. I think they're just going to start, getting ready for next season, pack it up, and that's it to be out. You're absolutely right. Without Joe Burrow, Cincy is nothing. Albert, what you think?
Steelers, man. Watching the Steelers have been brutal to watch. I don't think how many touchdowns Kenny Pickett thrown this season. And you said it's cold, raining, wet. They're running that ball.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably going to be a low-score game, to be honest. But the Steelers always find a way to come on top of those. So I'm going to go with the Steelers on the road here.
All right. I'll take that. We got the Panthers. Oh, gosh. Panthers versus Titans.
Ugh.
Yeah, I know. 47-degree weather. It looks like it might rain. Our buddy Sam's going to be out there freezing. Not freezing. It's 47-degree. But Nashville, they're playing in Nashville. Bryce Young is coming in with 1,683 yards, 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Good God. Derrick Henry's coming in with 158 carries, 663 yards, 4 touchdowns. And Adam Thielen for the Cardinals is coming in with 76 receptions, 726 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Talk about a game that nobody's going to watch besides the fan bases. Honestly, I can't even say, I can't even think of who's going to win this one because it makes it so difficult. I think us losing to Carolina was a fluke. Was just us not getting anything because Carolina is definitely a beatable team. I'm gonna take the Titans on this one, even though I don't like them. Titans over Carolina.
Yeah, like you said, it's gonna be wet, raining, windy. It's gonna be a Derrick Henry. He's gonna have about 30 carries, 200 yards, and a couple touchdowns.
There you go, fantasy owners. If you have Derrick Henry, start him. What about you, bud?
Titans at home. Carolina, they suck.
Yeah, terrible. Yeah, awful team. I don't know what we lost against them, but all right. We got this one might be a little interesting, but the Colts versus the Bucks. Bucks are 2-3 away. Colts are actually 1-4 at home, and they're playing in Lucas Oil Stadium in Indy. Baker Mayfield's coming in for the season at 2,389 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. Let me see what else. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit. Moss is coming in with 133 carries, 617 yards, 5 touchdowns, and Mike Evans 48 receptions, 780 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Boys, don't make it easy. I think I'm pretty sure the Bucks got the Colts' number on this one, so I'm gonna take the Bucks.
Yeah, even though Baker Mayfield's still a bitch, I'm gonna go with Bucks on this one.
That's right. But we're not Baker Mayfield fans ever since he said he was a Rangers fan. Oh, by the way, I have to name it. There you go. I'm wearing the Rangers thing.
Oh my god.
And then there you go. Where's
you
this?
Can edit this out, right? No,
I checked in. No, I made a bet and I lost. So now I have to do this until 2024. Albert, what's your take on that game? Bucks or Indy?
The homer in me wants to go with the Bucks because I want to see the Colts lose. But man, to me, I feel like these teams are kind of evenly matched.
They are.
I'm probably going to ride with the home team. Probably the Colts are going to take this one.
See, and another reason why I think the Bucks going to win, they have a much better defense than the Colts do. I think their defense is. It gave us a run for our money when we played against the Bucks. I think the Colts lose for that reason. But yeah, you're saying because you think that. So what makes you think again that the Colts are going to win it?
To be honest, they're home dog essentially.
Got it. Okay, gut feeling.
Yeah, just a gut feeling.
Gotcha. No worries. All right. Oh God, the next one. Okay, whoever's scheduling these games, please stop. We got Patriots versus Giants.
Oh God.
49-degree weather. Yeah, Super Bowl rematch without the talent. 49-degree weather. It's going to be sunny, and it's going to be at MetLife Stadium. So we got Mac Jones coming in at 2,031 yards, 10 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Good Lord. Saquon Barkley, 153 carries, 651 yards, 1 touchdown. And Slayton for the Giants, the wide receivers, coming in with 30 receptions, 419 yards, and 1 touchdown. Have you ever seen sadder stats than that? Let me know. But gosh, that is terrible. I'm gonna take the Patriots on this one.
Yeah, the Giants have nothing going for them at all besides Saquon, but again, he can't carry the load by himself because all you gotta do is stack the box. 8 guys, and there goes the game plan.
There you go.
It's gonna be one of those ugly games. It's gonna be like a 6-3 game.
Yeah,
it's gonna look like a soccer match.
Exactly. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah,
ends in a tie.
As it should.
Parents worse. Wasting my time watching.
Right. So you said Patriots, Rios?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Albert, what you think, bud?
Patriots. Probably the thing to look most forward to in this game is probably Bill O'Brien. You only got a quarterback.
Somebody. Definitely. That making himself trying to be dominant or whatnot. Yeah, there you go. All right, so that does it for the noon games for us. All right, let's go for the later games. Okay, so we got Kansas City Chiefs versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm just gonna say it's gonna be in Vegas also. Patrick Mahomes is at 2,619 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Josh Jacobs coming in with 200 carries, 661 yards for the season, 5 touchdowns, and Adams is coming in at 64 receptions, 700. Devontae Adams 64 receptions, 741 yards, 4 touchdowns for the season. I'm still gonna take how do you call it? The Chiefs are 3-1 away, so it is a divisional game. And the Chiefs lost against the Denver Broncos, in a divisional game. So it kind of adds in a little bit, but I'm still going to go with the Chiefs on this one just because Patrick Mahomes, I feel like he's going to find a way to beat the Las Vegas Raiders. So I'm going to say Chiefs. Rios?
Yeah, I'm going to go Chiefs also, but it's going to be close because those divisional games, you guys play each other twice a year. You know each other's tendencies. So it's going to be a lot closer than people expect, but I still think the Chiefs pull it off because they got Mahomes.
That's it.
Yeah. Albert?
Mahomes, man, he's a difference maker. Chiefs. Hopefully those receivers learn to catch those balls, man, this week. That's probably the only thing that's stopping the Chiefs from being dominant this season.
Yeah.
And making them beatable. But those receivers get those stickums on their gloves, they should be good, right?
Yeah, no, exactly.
There you go.
Just like one of those, those little things you buy at the dollar store that you throw the tennis ball to and it just sticks. There you go. That's
all they're missing.
The Velcro.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Exactly. So, hey, before we move on, like, do y'all notice how beatable the Chiefs are this season?
Yeah.
Like Albert said, they're a beatable team.
They're not that huge threat that they've been the past couple of years. Like they look huge.
It makes you think that. Does this team really miss Eric Bieniemy? Was he?
Yep.
Was he really that key piece? And then they finally just caught up to this season. Because we thought losing Tyreek Hill they were going to go down, but that
didn't happen
last year.
And then, yeah, exactly. So maybe it's a possibility. And then look at Sam Howell for the Commanders. Sam Howell is dominating. Right? So could it be maybe something to do with Eric Bieniemy? Sam Howell is dominating right now. Not dominating as in like winning games or anything, but like Sam Howell looks like a legit quarterback.
Competent quarterback.
Competent quarterback, yeah. So maybe. Let's see. All right. Okay, so I talked about we talked Chiefs, Raiders. Okay, another one. Okay, we got the Browns versus the Broncos today. They're going to be playing at Mile House Stadium. Russell Wilson's coming in at 2,065 yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Actually doesn't look too bad for Russ this season. Ford is coming in with 136 carries, 563 yards, 3 touchdowns for the season. And Amari Cooper for the Browns is coming in at 45 receptions, 749 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You know what's crazy about the Browns, even though I hope they lose everything because they have one of our picks? It's crazy that the defense bails them out so much that they don't even need a Deshaun Watson at quarterback right now. So for that reason, I'm gonna actually take the Browns over the Broncos. If the Browns can beat the Broncos today, hey, we as Texans we got to watch out because that defense is top notch right now. So I'm gonna take the Browns on this one. Rios.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Browns also. That their defense is elite. Like they're very reminiscent of the early 2000s Baltimore Ravens defense. Like they're basically carrying this team because on offense they can't get it done. They weren't getting it done with Deshaun Watson, and now they got second, third quarterbacks playing, and offense. They're not putting up points, but they're still winning close games. Yeah. I think if the defense keep it close, the Browns get the W. But if it's high scoring, the Browns they just can't keep up.
Yeah.
As long as it's low scoring, Cleveland.
All right.
It's gonna be a low scoring game. Who's the Browns quarterback again? Who's it this week?
I think it's DTR this week.
Yeah.
Who's that guy? I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah. 33-degree weather, and it looks like it might be a little snowy, but I don't think so. It's just probably chilly.
Man, it's to me, it's one of those other games. Like I lean the home guys, Denver Bronco on this one. It's one of those games where it's just going to be running the football. I don't expect Russ is going to air this out, and Russ has been Russ since Seattle. I'm going to go Denver on this one.
Denver. Okay. All right. Next up, we got the 4-6 Rams against the 2-9 Cardinals. We got Matt Stafford coming in at 2,260 yards, 9 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. James Conner is coming in with 98 carries, 499 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Arizona. And Nakua from the Rams is coming in at 69 receptions, 897 yards, and 3 touchdowns for the season. I can honestly say it. I think Kyler Murray has added a little spark to the Cardinals since his return. Obviously, last week's game against the Texans didn't fare so well for him, but he came pretty. At the end of it all, Kyler Murray, I felt like we were seeing a little bit of the old Kyler Murray that we were used to. I'm honestly gonna take the Cardinals over the Rams because and also they're playing at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, so I'm gonna take the Cardinals over the Rams today. Rios.
Yeah, same. The Cardinals are better than the record indicates. Their defense plays pretty hard, and now they have Kyler back, and he makes a difference at offense because you gotta keep an account of his running ability. His running ability to extend plays. And the Rams, man, they're just in free fall right now.
Mm-hmm.
Even with Stafford back, even with Cooper Kupp and Nakua, like they're just not putting it together. And like I said, they went all in that Super Bowl year, which was great, but now they're you're starting to see the effect.
Exactly.
And they're going to have to blow it up after this year because that's just a lot of money in the books for 2 wins.
Yeah. No,
well, it was worth it. They got a Super Bowl ring. It was worth it.
They did. They went all in. Albert, what you think, bud?
Kyler Murray. Did he even tear his ACL last season? I mean, I saw him running like last game against the Texans. I'm like,
he's tearing it up, man.
Not even really injured at all.
Yeah. It didn't seem like it. Yeah, he still looks the same.
God, when Kyler Murray runs, he looks like he's like running like a little kid that stole something. We try to get back. But excuse me. But yeah, the Cardinals, they play hard. I think they're a little underrated. I expect them to win this game. I like how they play. They play hard. They play for their coach.
Yeah.
And Kyler Murray, they got to be able to factor that guy in. I think they're actually going to win this at home.
Okay, so do you think that that Kyler Murray is starting to adapt to this system that he was used to the Cliff Kingsbury system or whatnot, but now he has to adjust to this one. I mean, he's been back 2-3 games or something like that. What was that?
This will be his third game.
Third game, yeah. So obviously it takes a while to adapt to it, but I mean, it seemed like he was pretty good in control last week against the Texans. So really quick, giving a shout out to Cam Credo. Sub, how's it going? Cam says, I don't know about football that much, but I say Rams. All right, good bold prediction. Appreciate the prediction, bud. All right, awesome. Yeah, thanks for commenting. All right, next one we got the 6-5 Bills versus the 9-1 Eagles, and they're playing in Philadelphia. Eagles are undefeated at home. They're undefeated at home. So 50 degree weather, should be a little sunny, a little cloudy, whatever. Josh Allen's coming in at 2,875 yards, 22 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Swift is coming in for the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Is coming in 147 carries, 690 yards, 4 touchdowns. And A.J. Brown for Philadelphia is coming in at 68 receptions, 1,013 yards, and 6 touchdowns. A.J. Brown's been pretty good for the Eagles. So, guys, what is wrong with Buffalo? What's going on?
Man, it's a combination of things. It's them missing what's his face, Dable, because he was a great play caller. That, and the thing is, just there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. There's something going on behind the scenes because they just don't look like the same team.
They don't.
Like I mentioned a few times, like this is pretty much the same roster as last year. Minus a couple upgrades at a couple positions, but I mean it's essentially the same team. So it's all mental, really.
Oh, I agree 100%. It's all mental. I don't see Stephon Diggs coming back next season for the Bills. He seems upset. It just almost seems like they're going to go through a restructure, and I don't know. I think it's all mental game. I mean, point blank, honestly, looking at Josh Allen's numbers, the amount of yards he's got going on is great. He's got 22 touchdowns. Maybe the interception to touchdown ratio isn't as it's still not too bad, I guess you want to say, but it's a high number of interceptions so far, but it's still like his touchdowns overshadow the interceptions in a way. So, but yeah, that team has broken down. I'm very confused at what's going on with them so far. They've just fallen off the face of the earth so far. But I'm gonna say Eagles for sure. Eagles today. And Rios, you said who do you think?
Yeah, easily Eagles.
Eagles.
Like I said, they're undefeated at home, and that defense, they're starting to put it together. Like they're not as good as their record indicates because the way they played this season, but they're starting to put it together, and they're going to be a scary team in January.
Yeah. Albert, what's your take on that one?
Man, the Bills, they need this game. I'm looking at their schedule right now. It doesn't get any easier for the teams that have coming up. the next winnable one for should be against New England, but that's a divisional matchup down the road. But they need this game. I don't know what's wrong with the Bills. Maybe they are missing Dable. But Josh Allen, is what he is. He's like, to me, he's like a Brett Favre. He's a gunslinger. He's a playmaker. He wants to make the plays. But I don't think he has the best decision-making skills out there. But I think the Bills are probably desperate. They're going to need a win. They're going to need a win. But are they going to beat the Eagles at home, though? It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the Eagles as much, but
of course
they're good. I'll give them the props. I think the Eagles can win this. Are going to win this.
Jalen, the only reason why I'm okay with the Eagles because Jalen Hurts, H-Town baby.
H-Town, hold on.
H-Town, hold it in. And of course, our friend Cameron also chose the Eagles over here. So there you go. Thing is, unanimously, everybody chose the Eagles. All right, that puts us in the NBC primetime game. Ravens versus Chargers. Honestly, I'm actually looking forward to seeing that one. 8-3 Ravens coming against the 4-6 Chargers. Justin Herbert is leading a team. He's looking great. 2,600, 9 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That looks good. Those stats look good. Edwards is coming in as a running back for Baltimore for 133 carries, 564 yards for the season, 10 touchdowns. And Keenan Allen for the Chargers is coming in with 83 receptions, 1,011 yards, and 7 touchdowns. I mean, statistically speaking, the Chargers look pretty good. They will be playing in Inglewood. So now, I'm looking forward to – I like Lamar Jackson. Y'all know I respect Lamar Jackson like crazy. But Herbert's looking pretty good too. It should be – do you guys see this as a high-scoring game? And by the way, I'm going to take the Ravens on this one. I think the Ravens. So, Rios, what do you think, bud? Do you think is a high-scoring or low-scoring game?
Honestly, I see it being a blowout for the Ravens.
Yeah?
Their defense is playing lights out, and I don't know what it is with the Chargers. They have, all this talent, but they just can't win games. And I think a lot of it has to do with coaching and just the scheme.
Do you think it's kind of similar to what the Bills are going through?
I think with them, it's probably not behind the scenes stuff, but I think they need a coaching change for sure.
All right, coaching change. So you said a landslide victory for the Ravens, right?
Yep.
Got it. Okay, and Albert, what about you, bud?
I'm gonna take the Ravens on this one. Something wrong with the Chargers. I don't know if it's just this season, but I feel like since as long as I've been watching football, the Chargers have always been charging. You know how you say Texans going to Texans, Chargers going to Charger. They haven't had, I say, a memorable season since 07. That's back when Phillip Rivers and that insane defense, LT, all that. I'm happy Keenan Allen is staying healthy this season. That's someone. I know that guy's he's had a string of bad luck.
Yeah.
But there's something going on over there. Their head coach might get fired if they lose this game.
Oh, you think so?
I think he will.
Mm-hmm.
And as for Herbert, Herbert's good. I don't know if he's elite like some people like to claim he is, but
he puts up numbers for sure.
He puts up numbers, but he's about to be on his third coach in I don't know how many seasons, man, for an elite quarterback. But Ravens defense is good. I don't know if it's gonna be a blowout win, but I do expect them to win.
Okay, all right. And our friend Cameron said Ravens as well. He's a big Ravens fan. He says I love them. So, all right. So back to I think there's a Monday night or the Monday night game. I'm looking for that one, but let's see. I can find it off the top of my head right now. All right. Well, anyway, Monday. There you go. We're looking at the Bears and Vikings. I'm gonna take the Vikings on that one. I mean, Josh Jacobs is playing out of his mind right now. So I'm going to go with the Vikings on that one. And they're playing in Minnesota as well. So I'm going to say the Vikings. It is a divisional game, but, the Bears are 1-5 away. They're 3-8. I don't know what they're going to do with Justin Fields. Justin Fields' numbers don't look all that right now. They're 1,370 yards for the season, 12 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Madison for the running back for the Vikings, he's 148 carries, 542 yards, and more for Chicago. It's the only one that really has stats to put up 59 receptions, 889 yards, and 6 touchdowns. But I don't really trust Justin Fields. Do you guys think the Justin Fields experiment is over with Chicago?
Yeah.
At this point?
They're going to have a top 2 pick. They're going to get one of the 4 picks.
Well,
yeah.
It all depends if Caleb is he coming out this season. I don't know if he declared he's coming out yet.
Most likely. I don't see why he wouldn't.
Yeah. But it's over. It sucks for him. Fields got drafted to such a organization that doesn't really care about his quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. Which was a better spot, but I think they're over it. They're gonna have the top 2 picks, most likely this season. I'm going with the Vikings.
Vikings. Yeah, same. Josh Jacobs for sure. Rios.
Yeah, Vikings. I don't know why this is the primetime game. Why, God? Why?
Exactly. That's what happens when you let AWS take care of all that. Remember they showed that commercial? AWS is scheduling all of our football games. Like, what? That's what the problem is. Yeah.
Bring back a human.
Bring back the human. AI isn't ready for that yet. And of course, Cameron says Vikings there. There you go. All right. So last but not least, because we got to go. Let's make our score predictions for the Texans. Since I've been on a roll, and every time I pick the Texans to lose, we win. Today, I want to be a homer. I do want my Texans to win. So I'm going to say the Texans beat Jacksonville. I'm going to say it's a little close one, 27-20. That's what I'm going to say. Texans. Rios.
No, like I mentioned earlier, I expect a masterclass from Stroud. I see him put up about 4 or 5 touchdowns today. That Jacksonville secondary is missing their top corner, and they're not very great against the pass. So I'm going to go Texans 35, Jacksonville 10.
All right. And Albert.
Yeah, I'm thinking Texans put up at least 30 points on the board. Jacksonville probably 20.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. And for sure, I'm pretty sure, like I said, CJ Stroud only needs 263 passing yards today to beat Justin Herbert's record for the most passing yards by a rookie in the first 11 games. I expect to see that today as well. I think it should be a pretty good game, interesting for the Texans. And I just hope that CJ gets over the interception thing from last week, which I believe he should. Other than that, I want to thank Albert for joining us today. Appreciate you, bud. I hope to have you on the show more times. Not a problem. Other than that, go Texans. Thanks, Rios. Good luck at the game.
Hopefully I get there. I'm still at the Life of Kirby.
Yeah, it looks like you're still driving.
Man, you're still driving. We've been going for 57 minutes. Yeah. All right, brother. We'll see you. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Don't forget to set your fantasy lineup. You got a few more minutes, but other than that, it's gonna be it for us. See y'all later. Peace.
All right. Hold down.
Hold down.